Advice that I would give people that are graduating with design is be prepared for serendipity to take you directions, but also realize that you're somewhat in control of where those directions take you. Be thinking about what you really want to focus on and figure out ways to let serendipity lead you there instead of trying to force it too soon. But also be ready to short circuit if you feel you're going the wrong direction.
Not everyone is good at all things, so just recognize that you're not going to get A's in every class, but recognize what your talents are and really work to be well-rounded, because you really kind of need to be able to do a little bit of everything, but know where your strengths are, and in the end, like with me, eventually you'll get to do the things that you're best at. But when you're first out there getting a job, your first 3 years, you pretty much have to be able to do a little bit of everything. So just be careful with that. Don't skip out things that you aren't good at. Try to get better at, so that you can, at least be proficient in those enough to land a good job.
Well, there's a piece of advice, and then I guess there's some general commentary. I think the piece of advice is, when you're starting to apply for jobs or starting to actually go into the field, be willing to do anything. Be willing to get as much possible variety in different tasks. If someone asks you to go make a copy, it's not demeaning. You have to start somewhere. But even by making a copy, you might start to see the types of materials that they're putting together, or the types of furniture that they're selecting. So even be willing to do even the smallest task to help you gain as much knowledge as possible. In terms of things that I don't wish someone had told me, you really have to love design. Not that everyone doesn't love their job, but we work a lot of crazy hours, and so sometimes for not the highest pay. But the reason that we all still do it is because we truly love it. And you've got to know that even when you're in school, there is a point, at least in my educational career, where you have a portfolio review about your junior year. And there were people that didn't make the cut, and you could tell by the way that their interviews went, the way that they were talking behind the scenes, they just weren't, it wasn't the right feel for them. And I think even while you're still in school, making sure that you have a mentor or someone that you can go to help guide you to find out if this is really the direction that you want to go. Because it is a tough field. I mean, it's a fantastic field, but you have to love it to want to stay in it.
In your last year or last summers, get an internship with the firm that you've researched and discovered that you might want to try out their culture. That is so important, because no matter what level of work you do in that firm, you understand the workings and the expectations of those roles. And then you can kind of, by watching and even going out to lunch with some of these peer professionals, you can talk with them and understand what they do and the expectations of the role. So if you don't know what you want to do yet, it's a good way to explore and really understand the business of design, because it's very different from what you do in school. If you can't get an internship in a design firm, then get an internship with a hospital, with a university, with the type of client that you might want to design for, to understand the business, and then sell that. Go in to interview with a firm. Say you chose, maybe you can do both. Maybe you can get an internship at a firm, but also don't sell your jobs short if you can't get a design job right away. Get one that is with the client that you want to design for, and that is amazing. That's such a sell, because then you know how they do their work. That's a leap up, that you were thinking strategically about your job path in your career and very focused. So there's different ways to get experience and get yourself launched.